Hey yo, what's good? Welcome back to the second part of this beginner's guide that I'll be doing. In case y'all wonder how we got so far and how to start from the very beginning, check out the other video, part number 1. Today we're just gonna continue where we stopped. Yeah, so we keep it simple, no bullshit guide, just super simple to follow. You go learn a lot of stuff, so let's just keep going into it. Last time we got up until that point. Started creating a little melody. Got some instruments. And we went over the mixer. I showed you a little bit about the mixer, a little bit about the playlist, a little bit about the rec, and also the browser. But now we are going to go more in depth and I'll give you a more deep angle among all these things that I showed you so far, and we'll start with the rec. So hello Emi, by the way. Emi says finally something for me. I bet, bro. So I just want to go over this rec and give you a little bit more information about it, go a little bit deeper what this rec actually does. Again, the rec, if you don't know what a rec is, it's basically a collection of all the instruments that you use in your song. Let's say you make a song for an orchestra, you would have all your orchestral elements here, like a piano, a violin, a bass player, all that stuff. And for this beat, so far we decided for 3 instruments, and we also decided for 4 drums. Okay, the first thing is the rec can have different colors, and this is really cool to organize yourself. So you just shift click any instrument and you can assign a color. And I love to give my instruments a red color just so I know, okay, these are instruments, right? And I do the same thing with my drums and give them a blue color so I know, okay, these are drums, right? And I just visually have this cue. Yeah. So there might be a really fringe use case where you really want to have all different types of colors. Let's say you want to have your kick drum even more blue. You can do that, right? Cool. There's another thing that you can do that I feel like little people know. You can, just a sec. Yeah, that's it. Like right click it and then go to rename color and icon, and then you can pick an icon there. So for example, let's say you want to have a drum symbol next to it. Here it shows you that it's a drum symbol. I don't know why you want to do that. Maybe you're a very visual guy and you want to have this. Yeah, it's a little overkill for me, but you can do this. Can make them sound like drums. You can even for the kick drum, you can use a kick drum. Yeah. Hello. Yeah. Hey yo, drive it. Hey bro. Hey, what's good? Drived. I hope I pronounce your name correctly. Okay, and also for the instruments, you can pick like an instrument symbol if you want, like a key. Very simple. Okay, then the other thing, I already showed you what these numbers are in the other one, and I showed you what these 2 knobs do, right? But there is more to the rec. I just want to show that right quick. If you can remember, we laid down this drum pattern. So this is our drum pattern for our song. And if I go to my hi-hat, you can see the hi-hat pattern looks like this. But there's another way to do it, which trap producers love to do. They do that all the time, and they use this step sequencer. So the steps sequencer refers to these bars. As you can see, 4 of those bars correspond to 1 full bar in the playlist. And it's kind of the same thing. So if I fill these steps, kind of like little Legos or whatever, it does the same thing as the piano roll that I showed you. And to be very efficient, I'm gonna show you a workflow hack. If you want to be very efficient with your stuff, you just press fill every 8 steps, fill every 4 steps or every 2 steps, and it basically fills up the grid for you. How are you, bro? I'm doing fine, bro. I'm doing fine. Just teaching a little FL Studio for beginners. So me, I want to fill it every 2 steps. And you see it fills it. Let's say I want to bring in some variation. So this is my old pattern. It's very boring. I just want to spice it up a little. And therefore, I'm going to bring in some variation. So I'm going to do this. I'm just adding 2 more in between the breaks of the other ones. Damn, bro, I just started learning FL Studio like 2 days ago. Then, welcome, bro. Then it's a perfect time to step up your game, bro. This is like a crazy coincidence. Okay, I just want to show you the last thing, which is called swing. This thing here. I mean, it goes way more in depth, but I don't want to go like fucking Mozart mode, right? So I just want to show you like the most usable use cases. And yeah, so you got this thingy here where you can set the length of your bars. I don't know why you want to use that, but maybe you want to use it. Yeah, so me, I always put it on auto mode. But if you want to change your bar length, you can do it here. For whatever reason, I would suggest you not to do it. I'd never use that shit. And this one is called swing. So this is the kind of the most important thing. What is swing? So swing is a little hard to explain, right? So these drums right now sound very robotic just because they're mathematically perfect time aligned. So they are aligned in a perfect rhythm. So whenever 1 second passes, a drum hits. It is completely picture perfect, right? But usually in most genre, you don't want that. You want to have your drums sound human. Because if you think about a human drummer can never hit the same note in the same millisecond. Because it's just not possible for a human. And to replicate this feeling, it is called swing. And a drummer can have a big swing, so he can be very tight, what you call, if a drummer plays very tight, then he plays very much on the beat, he plays like a machine. But if a drummer plays very loose, then you have a lot of swing. So watch what happens if I put a lot of swing in the shit. It's almost off beat, right? It sounds like it's off beat. You think like my drummer is drunk. But this is very important if you make, let's say you make jazz, rock, I don't know, like new jazz, plugin B might be good for this shit. Or fuck it, even some rage, even for some new range, you can use that. Would this apply to EDM too, like a melodic dubstep? Yeah. Everything that is kind of like more emotional, I would say, where you really want to have a real feeling, you want to add this swing. So much for the channel rec. I feel like I explained you everything that possibly is possible for the channel rec. So next thing is I'll go to the playlist. In playlist is very simple to explain. Really. I see. Thank you. You're welcome. You are welcome. So the playlist is super simple explained. It is basically just like a collection of all the patterns that you have. It is like in sheet music. Let me just show you what sheet music is, because I know a lot of new gen producers might not even know what that is. Just a second, let me pull that up right quick. So this is sheet music, right? So it's just like, I don't know, the shit that Mozart used to have and all these guys, right? And this is the same thing as the playlist. We got all our notes here. So this is the piano. And it's kind of the same thing like the sheet music. We got all our instruments together here. So I can play the piano with the drums. And I can mute it. And the way I do this is by pressing these little lights. So when I left click one of those lights, then it will get soloed. Solo means that only one thing is played. So if I turn it off, nothing is playing, right? And if I want to decide, for example, I want to make decisions based on my kick drum and my piano, then I can highlight my kick drum and I can highlight my piano. Same thing for organizing. You can left click any instrument here. So you just left click with shift left and shift click these boxes. So every box corresponds to one instrument, and I can, for example, give them a name like key. So now this box is called key. I can also give it a color, key 1, then I can say key 2, I can say key 3, right? And give it colors. What you say, Emi? People don't have sheet music in school. I feel old. I feel like they don't do that shit anymore. By the way, what piano VST do you use? I got 2 pianos and it just don't sound so good. So today I don't want to go into VSTs. I want to stick to the very basics. So in case you're wondering what my guy SD is referring, VST is short for Virtual Studio Technology, which basically just means like instruments or effects. And he asks me which one I use. Today we're going to use FL Studio. It's the very stock plugin. Everyone has it. Everyone uses it. Usually I like to use Hammer and Waves, but I will not do that. Or fuck it. Actually, I want to answer the question. Let's just do it. I'm going to show you a instrument that I use. So we go to the browser. We type in the instrument that we want to have. It's called Kontakt. Then it loads up. And I'll show you the instrument that I use for my key stuff. Let me show you Hammer and Waves. And as you see, there are different types of instruments. But again, this will be another video. We will not cover instruments today. We'll go with the basics, with the very basics. I just want to show you this modern grand, which refers to just a regular big piano. So let's load that up. Okay, my FLB spazzing on me. All right, so this is the one that I like to use, and there are presets in it. I love the Dark Winston, for example. Let's see how it sounds. So what I did is change the character of this sound. Right. Okay, let's go back to the playlist. I want to show you some more of the playlist. For whatever reason, if you want to add cymbals to your instruments, you can do it like this. Shift click and add cymbals. I don't know why you want to do that. Maybe you are very visual and very structured. You can do it like that. But there's another cool thing about the playlist, and it is you can also, instead of pattern, so you see these 3 symbols here. We will be covering 2, not the middle one. The middle one is a little complex. We don't want to do that today. We will do that in another live stream. But first, the right one is patterns, right? And you have patterns like this. These are patterns. You can get them from this plus symbol, or just right-clicking the patterns and switching between those. You can also use your mouse wheel to switch between the patterns that you already created. But there is another thing. By the way, you can also highlight the notes. If you press this, these notes will get highlighted in the color of your rec. So if you remember, we made our rec be blue, and if you press this this chain thing or channel thing, actually, they will be in the color of your instrument. So the blue ones will be blue and the red ones will be red. That might be a little visual cue you want to use. Yeah, and the other one is notes. This highlights all the notes that are there. But I want to show you this other thing that we got, and this is for audio clips. I want to show you what an audio clip actually is. So let's have a look at this pattern. This is our piano. I want to have that piano to be an audio clip. I will show you what that is. So we go to the channel and we right click it and we say consolidate track from track start. We hit all right. And this is what happens. It turns into an audio clip. And as you might know, music is just waves. So music is just waves that travel through space. And these are depicted in this thing. You can see those like this. And it's the same thing as the pattern that we created. So if we take the pattern Let me show you that. I play the pattern. So I highlight only the pattern. It's the piano. And if I highlight this, it's the exact same thing. So it doesn't matter if you use waveforms. So people also call these loops. They call them loops. Let's say, for example, you are a drum guy. Let's say you only want to make drums because you're not really good at writing melodies. Then you usually go and search for loops. For example, you can also hit me up. By the way, I have a Discord if you want to join. If you're a complete beginner and you don't know how to make melodies, I can give you melodies for you to start. So this is what you call a loop. And it's basically the same thing as me programming the piano. It's exactly the same thing, just that one thing looks like this and the other one doesn't, right? Okay, and the final thing that I want to show you is you have these three tools. The one tool basically makes it time stretches it. So it is this tool. It is called Stretch Audio Tool. And what you do with it is you kind of manipulate the timing. So if I make it smaller, then it will be double the speed. Because in the beginning, it was 4 bars. So 4 bars for the whole progression. But if I make it only 2 bars, then the whole thing will be played in 2 bars, which makes it double the speed. You feel me? And I can go even faster. This is how you create those hyperpop sounds. For example, for a hyperpop beat, or for these crazy glitchy beats that you might hear from very popular producers. But there's also another way to do it. You can basically time stretch it longer. If I time stretch it double the amount, then it will be way lower and slower. And this is the trick that you hear, let's say in horror movies or in very atmospheric beats, for example. And now that we created ourselves this little thing, I want to use it like an intro. I want to have this be my intro. Okay. And the last thing that I want to show you in this playlist are these tools here. And just the most important ones, because I don't want to take too long for these tutorials. So this one is very important. It's the mute tool, and it basically mutes things. So for example, let's say we have this pattern. And I think, delete doesn't sound really good. I'm not sure. I don't want to delete it. I still want to keep it, but I don't want to listen to it. So I just mute it, and then it's gone. And if I feel, I don't know, I'm missing the lead, I fuck with it, kinda. So I'll just double click it again with the mute tool, and then it reappears. Then the other tool that you want to have is the mass select tool. With this one, you can just select multiple things, and then you can left click, for example, and control. If you left click and control, you can shift it up and down without moving it anywhere, or you can just left click it and drag and drop it as you want. So simple as this. And then the other tool that I want to show you is the scalpel tool, or the cut tool. Slice tool is actually the real name. And with this one, you can make cuts. For example, you can go on the grid and cut it like this. So now I made some cuts. You might ask, why would I do this? Why would I cut it? So I would cut it because if I do that, I'm getting access to a whole different tool. If I go back to that wave audio forms that I showed you, then this one enables a menu which is called fades. If you press this, then left and right, you'll have some small dots. And if you move them left and right, so let's say I move this dot to the left, then I'll create a fade, which will make the sound fade in smoothly. I could do the other thing on the other side, then it would fade out. And this is kind of like a sound design trick where you can move your piano and make it Make it sound ethereal. I would love to edit this, but knowing myself, I'm gonna be either too lazy or it's gonna be bad. I don't know, Amy. I'm not gonna lie, I'm really disappointed with you because you said that so many times already. I'm dead ass, bro. You said so many times I'm gonna edit it, but you never did it. And I was really relying on you for some time, so just cut it. Alright, so I feel like we're good with that playlist. I showed you a lot of these playlist tools and what you can do with it. There's a couple more, but these are the most important things. So now let's go to the end bus, which will be the mixer. I actually go with piano roll. I want to show you the piano roll again. So the piano roll being this symbol here, we just click the pattern that we want to have, left click and press the piano roll, or you can also double click the pattern. And this is the piano pattern if you remember. I want to show you some cool tricks in the piano roll. So for one, you see the grid. So the grid corresponds to the grid in the playlist, which is just the timing of the piano. But to make it sound again more human, like I told you, a real piano player would never play the piano like this because it is the same timing all over again. And it just doesn't sound real. It sounds robotic. And to enhance the flow, to make it sound human, we want to take these notes and move them across the grid. But we don't want to move it too much, because if we move it too much, it sounds wrong. It sounds wrong. I always time perfect. Trust. Hey, yo. You do that? Hey, yo, bro, I haven't seen you in a while. What's good? What's good? Yeah, and to make it sound human, we just highlight the notes. For example, let's say we wanna move all these C notes. So we highlight everything by going for control. We press control, left click, and drag. You can do the same thing by using this symbol and highlighting everything if you want it that way. And then we left click it, press Alt. So we're gonna hold down the Alt key and we're gonna move it slightly. We just want to move it slightly. You see that? That it's moving from the grid. It's also moving in the playlist. If you look closely, it's also getting moved in the playlist. And now we created our own swing, so we made it sound human. And we want to do it more often. So we also want to take, for example, these bass notes and shift them a little back. Then let's say this one bass note, I want to shift in the front. Then this bass note, I want to shift in the front. This one I want to shift back. This one I want to shift back. This one I want to shift to the front. And now it sounds very humanized. Now it sounds more like a human playing it. But we can even emphasize it even more. We can use these curves here. So we get some curves. These are called velocity. And the velocity is basically how hard I be hitting my instrument, right? For example, I could go and hit a button very smooth. Let's say I make a love song. I would go very, very smooth and hit it very smoothly. But if I make a rock song, I would like slam the shit out of this, right? I would go like, come on, give me all that shit. And it's like the velocity. Isn't there a humanized button? Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there. I have kind of some trouble with not being lazy, but I found a method. I just made a program that forces me to do this before I can use anything like games. Okay, that's an extreme measurement, but I don't know. I don't trust you anymore, Emi. I'm not gonna lie. You lost my trust. My bro is spamming the N-word. I have struggle making melodies. So today it's not about melodies. Today we're not gonna make fire melodies. We're just gonna teach basics. But I will make a live stream where I show you how to make good melodies. But today is not the day. I'm sorry. I'll just show some basics and shit. But stick with me. If you want to see how I make good melodies, you can check out my other live streams. because I make all my beats from scratch. Of course, you're welcome. Why are you spamming the hammer, bro? Hey, yo, if the chat is this active, make a EDM tutorial, please. Yeah, fuck it. I can only go step by step. Good. So I want to show you how to use the velocity. So this thing here is the velocity. Again, if you hit it hard, you go up. If you want to have something that is hitting very hard, you put it all the way up. If you want to have something that is very smooth, you put it all the way down. For example, I take all this and I press Alt and mouse wheel and I move all this up or down. I move it down. See how smooth it is? Yeah, like, huh? Are you even playing it? Why are you playing so smooth, right? So, like, psh, psh. But we can also make it all the way up, and then he fucking slams those hammers. It even hurts in the ears, right? And to make it proper, we want to have these bass notes a little louder. So I'll just take some of these notes, make them louder, because a human would always play like this. A human would always have the bass notes be louder. Usually. So me, I play the piano. I know my shit, right? But if you don't know your shit, you can just follow this. And then we can take some random notes, make them quieter, make some go up. All that shit, right? So here we go. And now we kind of humanized it. You hear how real it sounds. If you remember how it sounded in the beginning it sounded very, very robotic and almost like a machine. But right now it sounds like a human playing the piano. That's why I'm trying to make club music. Just put some kicks and done. I mean, that's right. And now I'll show you a shortcut. So if you press Alt down here, Alt and move to the velocity, you even out everything. So let's take everything back to where it was. So this is how we started. Now I'll show you some shortcuts. You press Control A, highlight everything. Then you press Control R. This will open the randomizer and it will randomize your notes. Just play around with the velocity like I showed you. Play around with the release if you want. So this is a little more complicated. Just play around with these knobs. Press OK, accept. And then it automatically made what we just did manually. Then the other trick, press Control A, press Alt on Q, and it will open the quantizer, which will make it swing. And you can just modulate the start time and the duration. And again, it will humanize it. So much for the piano roll tricks that I showed you. And now I want to show you some final tricks. So this will be the last chapter for today. So I want to keep them super simple, all these videos. The last chapter that I will show you is the mixer, which is by far the most complex. So like mixing is a whole new level. If you don't know what mixing is, it is basically controlling all your different sounds and putting them together so the full song makes sense sonically. And it's kind of refining your sound and kind of sound designing. You also do the sound design on the mixer, at least in FL Studio. Ableton might be a little different, but in FL Studio, you do all the sound designing, all the mixing, all the production choices, like changes. You can even change the arrangement by using different mixers. You can even make a guitar. Let's say you have a guitar that is clean. You can switch it from a clean guitar to a distorted guitar by using different channels. Yeah, basically, again, what is a channel? A channel is a tunnel where the sound travels through. You can left click it with Control, make it red. Now we have this sound here, right? We get this weird piano sound that we sound designed. And I'll show you some basic stuff first. You can move it to the left with this knob. Right now it is fully on the left. And here it is fully on the right, right? So why would I use this? Let's put this into a use case. Let me show you some. So I separate my just generated file to make it sound a little more complex, and I make some of these sound unique. So I right click and make them unique. I showed you that in the last tutorial. And now I'll show you how to route. So I right click this, put track mode, audio track, and pick a free channel, channel number 9. Now I have one piano in the channel number 8, and I have one piano in the channel number 9. You see that? Let's say I only want to use this. You get me? And now I want to use the panning. So panning means pushing something to the left or to the right side. It comes from panorama, like, you know, like with. So I want to have one sound being perceived on the left ear, and I want to have one side being perceived on the right ear. So I do this. So can you hear how it moves from the left to the right? This is one trick to do it. Then I want to have these sound even more wide. I want to make them sound wide. So I will use this knob in the mixer. This knob makes the sound either more narrow if I go to the purple side, to the right side, or it makes it more wide if I go to that left side, to the green side. And I want to have that to be super wide, so I want this to be super impressive. I feel like my ears are high, and I like it. What was that supposed to mean? Okay, so cool. So now we have a pretty wide sound that moves from the left to right. So with some very simple tricks, we made some pretty advanced mixing. So just for the sake of the demonstration, I want to have my drums. So I'm going to pull up my drums and bring them here. It kind of already sounds like this trip hop sound. Okay, and now I'll show you another trick. If you right click one of these channels, it will be soloed. It's almost like sidechain. Sounds sick. Hey, what? Okay, so I will bring that sound back to the center so I can focus on it. I want to show you how to mix it. So we will go for our first plugin. And the first plugin that I want to teach you is a EQ. And you might know a EQ from your car radio, from your Spotify EQ settings. Maybe even your smartphone has some EQs. You might be familiar with an EQ. And I will go a little bit more into depth into this thing just because it is the most important mixing tool. An EQ is basically volume on different frequencies. So you can decide which frequencies are how loud. So a sound consists of several frequencies, and every sound has different frequencies in it. So my voice has different frequencies than your voice. Therefore, our voices sound different. And a piano has different frequencies than a guitar. Therefore, it sounds different. So everything in our world is just like mathematical frequencies, just like some swinging of stuff that makes things sound different. So basically, everything is just a frequency. The sound that we have here is very on the low end. So you can see the loudest peaks. Some frequencies have peaks, and some frequencies are a little lower. And the higher the peak, the louder it is perceived in this region. And because these peaks are so high, they are kind of bad for our ears. They are so high and so low that it kind of doesn't sound very good to the human ear. So we try to even out the sound. We try to make the sound more even. And so we're going to grab any band. So you can grab any band that you want to have. 3, 2, 4, 5. Pick your favorite number. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to use 6, 7, obviously, because I'm a fucking brain-rotted person. So I'm going to use 6 and 7. And I will bring down 6. And if I bring 6 down here, it will get rid of that honky sound. The problem is, if I do too much of this, it sounds too thin. And this is why you got good mixing engineers. So in the beginning, you will be struggling with a lot of this because you will not know, okay, am I doing too much? Am I taking out too much lows? Am I doing that? You gotta refine your ear. So let's hear. Right now it's very pokey. So I gotta find a sweet spot. Okay. I feel it's good right now. So I'll keep it that way. And now I want to take that channel number 7, which is a shelf. So you might see all these numbers are, I don't know how to explain it. Like all these numbers look like tits if you want. So if you put them up, you got like a left tit and a right tit. And if you put them down, you got like hanging tits, right? But channel number 7 doesn't have this. It has what is called a shelf. And with that shelf, you can basically take all the frequencies that are starting here in that beginning and take them up. Which makes your sound way brighter. Again, I don't want to overdo this. I want to keep it simple. So I will boost it that way. And you can do the same thing that I did with these knobs. You can move it up, you can move it down with this slider, and with that knob, you can move it left and right. So I'm not going to go in depth, not too much. I feel like that's enough. I don't want to fry your brain in the beginning if you're just a beginner. So yeah, let's just do one more move. Let's pick any frequency. Let's say 2000 hertz. And let's raise this frequency like this. Play around till we like it. Okay, it's good. Now I bring it back to the left channel and I play it again. The numbers do not matter. It just matters. Oh, by the way, can you explain this? I thought that every EQ 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. meant different categories. Can you explain why you put 6 near the bass? Oh, you mean the bands. Okay, so my guy has a question and he asks, let me load up a new one. All these knobs are the same. Let's start with this. Any of these knobs is the same. You can have whatever you want from these knobs. What might confuse you is that by default, this one is a shelf and the other ones are bells. So this is what you call a bell and this is what you call a shelf. But it doesn't matter. If I right click it and go to type and say bell, or is it called peaking? Okay, so in FL it's called peaking filter, but it's what you call a bell filter. Now it's a bell. So if I take this, let's say I use number 1 to boost 500. I boost 500 with number 1. Then I right click it and disable it. And if I go to 2 and do the exact same thing, then it is the exact same thing. It doesn't matter if I use 2, if I use 3, if I use 6, 7, right? It doesn't matter. Everything is the same thing, other than the 7th one being a shelf again. But again, I can go back and make it a peaking filter. Here we go. Everything of this is the exact same thing. You can decide what you want from them. You can make one be lower, you can one make higher, you can make another one lower, you can make it higher, you can make it lower, just like that. I see, all right, thank you guys. Yes, so it's actually very simple. So this is the EQ, and the EQ is by far the most important tool. It tends to be very complex, but it actually is not that complex. So let's do one final thing in the mixer before I leave you guys. Let's use these 5 minutes to show you how to mix drums a little bit. So we got our drums here. Let's also give some color to our drums. Let's go make them blue so we know, okay, these are our drums. So this one is the 808. It's the bass. I want to give it a different color. Okay. So I will turn off everything and I'll start with the kick drum. Let's say I want to mix my kick drum. I'll show you how to do this. You go for a EQ. And a beginner's mistake that a lot of beginners do is they feel like, oh, I want to have that kick, you know, I need my kick. I'm a fucking trap producer. I gotta sell those beats. I gotta make those fire kick drums. I want my kick drum to hit you in your stomach, bro. I need it to sound big and huge, right? Like my dick. So they go and boost the bass. So you do that and you think, bro, look at me. I'm a genius. I boost my bass of my kick. And therefore, I'm a fucking genius. And I'm the best mixing engineer on the world. But this is probably the biggest mistake you can do. Because there are actually tools. I'll just show you a little bit like some advanced shit. There are some tools like this monitoring, which show you where your bass is. And reading this value, by the way, you also see that on the EQ itself. You see that your bass is already strong enough. So you don't need to boost that bass. It is already very strong. If you want to have your kick smack harder, you gotta find the so-called transient. And it's usually somewhere here. You see how it smacks harder? So this is without the EQ. And this is with the EQ. So you gotta find your transient to make it hit harder. If you boost the bass, it will do nothing for you. It will just muddy up your beat and eat your headroom. So the other trick that I want to show you in a kick drum that is too bassy, you notice that some kicks sound like a basketball. It's very low, and you can get rid by cutting this frequency. Now it doesn't sound as boomy anymore. So this is how you can mix your kick. I want to show you one more thing, what to do. So I'll show you the second plugin of today, and it will be Fruity Fast Distortion, because it's very, very easy to use. It might look a little intimidating because of the mathematical graph that you got here and all these knobs, but it's very, very simple to use, especially if you go for presets. You can just left click presets and pick one of those. So first things first, what is distortion? Distortion is just making sounds sound more huge, make them sound more aggressive, make them sound bigger and sharper. So if you think of an electric guitar, for example, an electric guitar, if you have a simple electric guitar, it will sound like nothing because it's not amped. So an electric guitar gets amped by a fucking amp, you know, and then it sounds distorted like these metal guitars. If I play a guitar like this, you get me? So it's not very loud. To get that real metal guitar, I need to distort my signal. I need to distort it, right? And I'll show you how to distort. So first, I want to probably show it on a piano. Let's make it simple, so I can actually show you what it is. Let's take this piano. On its own, it sounds like this. And I'll go for that fast distortion, show you what it does. Yeah, this one is very exaggerating, right? So right now it sounds like an electric guitar with a piano mixed on top. But there is a cool trick to do it, and it is this mix knob. So mix just means the amount of distortion that we want to apply. Quick playing guitar flex. Yeah, just for the demonstration. So if I play with that mix knob, I can decide how much of it I want to use. So if I have the mix knob all the way to the left, which corresponds to 0%, then it's not engaged at all. If I move it up, it will get more and more distorted. And I just want to distort it a little bit. I want to make that piano sound very dangerous and very rough. Therefore, I'm going to move it just a little bit to get this distorted static, right? I want to have that shit. So the piano might be a very fringe use case for this shit, right? But we got a very good use case, and it is the kick. So the kick drum being our most important drum, and here we can play around with the mix knob on the kick drum to make it sound very aggressive. And this is also like in techno, for example, you want to have a very distorted kick that really smacks. Let's say this is a techno kick, then I would probably go like this, or even more. You feel me? Right? And for this song, since it's a trap song, I don't want it to be too distorted, so I might go for this. So let's do the same thing on our snare drum. Our snare drum being this, and we want to mix the snare drum. Let's actually go for a preset here. Let's go for the heat, or let's go for warmth. Let's see what this does. Okay, straight out the gate, it gives me what I want. It makes the drum sound very round. It makes it sound very warm. Perfect. I will not explain you all these other buttons. Let's just focus on this. And by the way, post is just like a level. So this is like, level refers to loudness, kind of. So if I put it all the way down, nothing is there. There's no signal. If I put it up, it goes up. So this is like, how loud is my instrument after the distortion? So these two knobs I will show you. The rest I will not show you. We'll leave that for the next one. I don't want to confuse you. Okay, here we go. You ask for house. What should I do for house? You should saturate your kick for house, but very slightly. In house, the kick is the most important instrument, so you want to have your kick sound like very like round and I don't know, like very prominent and very rich, but you don't want to have it distorted. So if you have a house kick that is distorted, you're probably on the wrong side of things. So last one is the hi-hats. Let's mix the hi-hats. First, we want to make them louder using this, the fader. Making them louder. Okay, next thing is we want to EQ them again. So we're going to load up a EQ. And we want to make it more bright. So hi-hats sound the best if they are very bright, if they are very sparkly, especially for trap. If you think of trap music, you might know this sound. You might know that hi-hat is, how would you call it? Like very sparkly and sizzly. See what it does? So if I move it down, it's very boring. The more I move it up, the brighter it sounds and the more interesting it sounds to our ears. We're like, oh, okay. So humans love the top end. Our ears are just tricked by the top end because we perceive it like very loud. And we can also overdo it. Let's say I go here, then we know, okay, it's too much. That shit is too much. It hurts my ears, right? So we got to find a sweet spot. Like this. And now we already mixed some trap drums. Now that we distorted the piano, if you remember we distorted the piano, it is way too loud. I gotta bring it down. Yeah, so much for this tutorial. I feel like I showed you enough for today. Going a little more in depth. For the next video, I am planning to show you some instruments, how to use different instruments, and how to use different settings. So yeah, that's it. If you want to support me, by the way, just go and watch my stuff. So if you go to my channel, you can go there, check out my new music video. It's fire though, trust me. I've been working hard on this shit. Check out some of my music. leave some love, leave some comments and shit. You know what it is. That was it for today. Thanks for watching, guys. And tomorrow at 6 p.m. I'll try to go for daily streams. Yeah. Goodbye.